Not long ago, I bought FTL, Faster Than Light, on Steam. I was hooked almost immediately. I was insanely fun. I kept telling myself just one more try every time I failed, and that happened a lot. When I finally beat the boss, the Rebel flagship, I was elated. I was so proud of my skills. Somewhat later, I went on to unlock all the ships in the game. But then what? There was not much else to do. I started to play other games until I heard that this game is easily modded. I felt like I needed a mod to spice things up and get me back into the game. Most of the mods I played were basic add-ons, which add new ships and such, along with new crew members and the like, but one mod caught my attention. It was titled Rebel Fleet 3726. I naturally assumed this was short for Rebel Fleet, which was what is pursuing you throughout the game. As for the 3726 part, I have no idea. Maybe it was the mod maker's top score. Maybe it was the file number on the site. This was getting odd fast. Curiosity took over me quickly, though, and I installed the mod and loaded up the game. It showed a normal title screen, then crashed. I tried again. The screen loaded up as normal, but I clicked New Game and it crashed again. Now I was starting to get annoyed. The only other game that I own that crashes as much as this now is Portal 2. That won't even load for me anymore. I shook it off and tried one more time. Screen loaded up, New Game Create succeeded, and I chose to play as the Red Tail, Kestrel Type B. The message box appeared, but instead of the usual opening, stating your mission and explaining the Rebel fleet and such, the message box simply stated, "They are chasing you. You must get to the end as fast as possible." I was assuming that the message box was just a shorter version of the original opening, but it said nothing about the mission. I shrugged it off and continued. I clicked OK on the message box, but was instantly greeted by a broken oxygen system, open, broken doors, and suffocating crew members. There was no time to repair everything before they all collapsed from lack of oxygen. The game over screen appeared saying, "Game over. With your entire crew dead, no one can stop them. Looters will find your ship and scrap it for their own selfish needs. Score 20. This was strange. Usually, when your entire crew dies, the message says, "Your ship will now continue to drift forever, or until looters destroy it." Then I get a pop-up saying, "Achievement unlocked. Victory through asphyxiation." This was odd. I already got the achievement, and I'm on easy mode, so I can't get it on normal mode. I figured this is just the mod's doing. So far all I've seen it do is change some text boxes. Maybe it reset my achievements too. I thought maybe this was just a waste of space, but I decided to continue. I loaded up the game with the Crystal Cruiser in hopes that the reduced suffocation damage would allow me to repair the oxygen indoors fast enough. The crew members took shifts, all going in and partially repairing each system, only to make a mad dash for the medbay when they were near death. Then I'd send the next squad in. Eventually this worked, and everything was repaired. I sent one of the crystal men in to man the shields, the other to man the weapons, one of the humans was a pilot, and the other manned the engines. My usual setup. I went to jump, but I noticed that the bar was filling up extremely slow. It also seemed a bit off-colored. It was a gray bar instead of the normal bright yellow. Was this just a graphical glitch, or the mod's doing? I waited for the bar to fill up, and when I went to jump, I noticed half the sector was a nebula. I never really minded them, but ion storms were really annoying. I jumped to the first nebula beacon, and I was blindsided by a boarding event. My crystal lockdown ability bought me some time while I opened the door and drained the intruder's oxygen. Before they died, a message box appeared saying, "Why? Why do you make us suffer the same fate as they did?" Before he collapsed, I closed the airlock while he was thinking about what he said, but then I upgraded the door system. That's the last time I forgot to get blast doors. I continued to the next sector, but I noticed that the Rebel fleet had accelerated as if I triggered a scout. With any second thought, I made a beeline for the exit beacon, the fleet growing closer every jump. I finally reached the exit beacon. The event there was, you guessed it, giant alien spiders. I was about to click the button to leave, but then I noticed that the only option is run before you're killed too. I clicked that in the hopes of leaving, but the following text box was odd. It said, "You attempt to jump away, but a spider jumps from the station to your ship and burrows through your hull, tearing apart your systems from the inside. It then bursts into your cockpit and kills your pilot. When I regain control of the game, all my systems are destroyed. What looks like an edited Mantis sprite is in the cockpit. My pilot is gone, and I click the button for jump. It jumps somewhere automatically, not to the next sector. It was steering me directly into the fleet. I sent my crystal members in to defeat it. It was no match for the two of them. I even sent my spare human in to pilot the ship, and headed straight for the expert beacon. Instead of having the same dialogue, the message now says, "The space station is now empty. No life signs detected. Not even the spiders." You try to beam aboard to see if any drones are still active, but there's no response. With no one to stop you, you scrap the station and take everything. I then gained 156 scrap, a glaive beam, and a quest marker. I was excited to try my new glaive beam. It was exceedingly powerful whenever I got one, so I spent the scrap to upgrade my weapons system enough to accommodate it. I went to put it in, but the tooltip was different than usual. It read a weapon of mass destruction, banned in most areas. This fearsome weapon has the power to topple the mightiest of empires and has been known to destroy entire gunships with a will of its own. This was a cool description. It really suits the weapon, but it was still a bit off. I figured this was just what the mod was supposed to do, is just swap some colors and change some dialogue. I pressed on. I was intrigued. I was making a beeline for that quest marker. As soon as I got there, the game made a loud noise. I had to take my headphones off as soon as it played. I could have busted my eardrums. I think it said congratulations, but I can't be sure. Then I saw a familiar sign appear in the top right corner saying ship unlocked, RBLFLT. RBLFLT wasn't the name of the mod. I shrugged it off. Maybe this mod was legit after all. I went to jump to the next beacon, but I was shocked to see the rebel fleet was about to advance twice as fast as they were before. I was about to jump, but a message box appeared saying, "You've stolen a rebel ship. But this has alerted the fleet to your exact coordinates. You must escape as fast as possible." Now this was getting fast pace. The exit beacon was 2 jumps away and the fleet was closing in. I only have 2 fuel left. I decided to go for it and see what happens. On the next beacon I was greeted by a ship. I brought out the glaive beam, and upon seeing that, they instantly surrendered, giving me 50 fuel, 200 scrap, and one of my favorite augments, the weapon pre-igniter. I think I just found my new favorite weapon. I upgraded my shields to level 3, and with all my new scrap I continued on. Unfortunately, I got cocky and ran straight into the rebel fleet. What I saw was awful. The ships were painted pitch black, and the message box for the Mantis ship that had the rock parts attached appeared on my screen. But it was altered. This rebel ship is one of the most dangerous in the fleet. It has killed countless enemies in battle and worn the destroyed remains of their crew as ornaments, scattering broken ribs and assorted organs across their hull as trophies. You must flee immediately before it attacks. The word "must" caught my eye because it was written in a different font than what the game uses. It was more of a blunt type, rather than the pixelated font the game uses. I shrugged it off and thought that it was the mod. I clicked OK on the message box, and then pulled out my glaive beam. I get a new message box. "We're not afraid of that tiny thing. Open fire." They started firing 3 Pegasus-type missiles, which fired 2 missiles at once. 6 missiles were heading for my ship. I diverted all power to my level 2 engines. My shields were no match for the missiles. They tore through the shield and then through my hull. It seemed like it was stronger than most missiles in the game. They did 4 damage per hit and recharged faster than light. Aha! That's it! I neglected that the whole battle. I have to jump away. I go to press the jump button, but that very instant a rocket hits my cockpit, which killed my launch engines and prevented my escape. Another message appears on screen. "You're not going anywhere," they say. They cut communications after saying, "Divert all power to the super weapon." Then cut communications, followed by a "Yes, sir." I wasted no time. I sent all of my crew members to the cockpit to repair it. Eventually it was repaired, and I wasted no time in mashing the jump button and dashing for the exit beacon. As soon as I left the super weapon activated, a giant beam shot out of the front of the ship's hull, leaving a small black hole where I was. I checked the damage when I was at the next jump. Things were looking grim. I had 6 hull points left, and most of my systems were destroyed. The only functioning system was my life support. But then I remembered what that boarder had said to me. It was something about not making them suffer the same fate that they did. Who were they? Was it my older game on the Kestrel? Could it be my dead crew? I thought it was just a coincidence, until I got to the exit beacon. I had gotten the event where you find a ship floating in space with no information of the whereabouts of the former crew. Except the ship model used was the Kestrel. I felt sad to see this event. Maybe that crew I suffocated was the crew of this ship. Was this my ship? I was guessing things left and right, but I finally convinced myself it was just a coincidence. I went to visit the next sector, but I see that the only 2 options are rebel-controlled. After what happened, I dreaded to go there, but it was my only option. I pressed on despite my fear as the next jump led to an asteroid field, with the event where the pirates disable your engines. But they had an ion blast level 2, and began spamming at my shields. An asteroid hit my oxygen room and left 4 breaches and completely destroyed the system. My crew then asphyxiated and died. But instead of a game over screen, it just sat there, until the rebel fleet came in. I was then presented with an image of the ship I encountered earlier, taking my crew members as trophies. Things seemed to go by in real time. Looters eventually stripped the ship, until the area was just empty space. I finally get a game over screen. I started to read it. Game over. You failed to live. Score? Set 3726. I noticed this was the same number as the mod name, so I went back to the page to search for the details, but I saw it was taken down by an admin. I then looked in the mod folder and saw a single image named FTL. I opened the file, and it held a picture of my ship with a large caption in blood red letters spelling, "You failed to live." I immediately uninstalled the mod, and I figured I'd cool down by going to my favorite forum site. It turns out someone on there had finished the newest FTL mod. Did you like this creepypasta? Go on and post in the comments below. I will also post a link to the original creepypasta in the description. Thank you and good night. Not long ago, I bought FTL Faster Than Light on Steam. I was hooked almost instantly. It was